Okay, welcome to the Public Works and Protective Services Committee meeting of July 17th. Do we have any changes or additions to the agenda? Someone move approval, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Mayor Little, seconded by Councillor Shukin. All in favor? Any public participation for this committee?
Beth Baker, I'm a chosen resident. I read the letter of somebody suggesting we have stronger alternatives to open burning, and I feel that way too. I don't want to do open burning, but it should be nice to have. And FireSmart does have a chipper, and they're doing some chipping in neighborhoods through pods. But if we could go more towards composting and chipping and get rid of open burning, that would be a boon to the environment and a boon to our health. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? We're getting off pretty lightly tonight. Okay, now to the minutes of June 12th. Motion to adopt these. Moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Shukin. All in favor? Thank you. And the receipt of the Healthy Community Advisory Select Committee meeting of June 20th.
Councillor, I just want to point out one typo.
Okay.
There's Councillor Shelley Bork right at the very beginning, which it should be Healthy Communities 7, and it's just got Councillor beside her. Yeah.
Right.
But with that amendment, I'll move receipt.
Thank you. All right. Moved by Councillor Shukin, seconded by Councillor Donaldson. All in favor? Right, the business of rising also comes from the Healthy Community Committee. It's going to be quite a fun committee. I think this year is a lot of interesting ideas and enthusiasm. So it's I think going to be great, and I'll have it back after quite a hiatus. So anyway, one of the things that have come up is this poverty reduction action plan. There's a lot of things in the community they wanted to look at. I mean, obviously housing is kind of front and center these days for all our communities, but they were looking at things that, that might work in Metchosin, or just sort of a Metchosin slant on that kind of thing. And also about poverty reduction is that, there's it's not just kind of the homeless on the streets, although we do certainly have homeless people in Metchosin, but it's also the residents here that are, sort of land rich, but some people tend to be struggling. And with the help of the fire chief, who has identified some of these people and other families that need help. So, it's just something that thought that they would form a subcommittee to sort of look into some of these things, and we're looking for the council support on this, a couple of these options, but this plan for sure, the poverty reduction action plan. So any comments from anyone? Very little?
No, I was just going to move the motion if you wanted me to do that.
Great, that's great.
Yeah, so that council authorized the Healthy Communities Advisory Select Committee to work in conjunction with the fire chief to identify issues and gather information towards the development of a local poverty reduction plan for the CEPF Poverty Reduction Planning Grant to support people in the community living in poverty.
Thanks. Do I have a seconder for that? Moved by Mayor Little, seconded by Councillor Donaldson. Any discussion? Right.
Yeah, I'm particularly pleased to see this. I went to more doors than anybody during the last election, and I saw some really abysmal places where people were living, and I was worried about them, not necessarily for the September, October months, but definitely for the November, December, January months. And I had communicated certain addresses to the fire chief to saying, this is really of concern, and she had mentioned to me that there's a lot more than I was aware of. So I'm really happy to see this at the Healthy Communities. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? All right. call the question. So all in favor? Great, that's great, thank you. Now the next one is health and safety training. And again, this kind of came through the fire chief, just talking about the overdose crisis and mental health issues. And they have many of their calls now for the fire department are on mental health issues and overdoses. So and obviously medical calls otherwise. So, but the idea was that we would work with her to develop a series of classes or programs or certifications. You can get a mental health certification and learn how to use naloxone kits and so on, but put something like that on for the community. So that's kind of the next plan. So any comments from the committee on this one? Mayor, so Councillor Gray.
I'll make a motion that Council authorize the Healthy Community Advisory Committee to work in conjunction with the Fire Chief to hold public education and training sessions to increase health and safety in the community, i.e. administering naloxone workshop and perhaps other events.
Great. Moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Shukin. Any more discussion?
Well, I'll just say I think the training for this is quite simple and it could possibly save lives.
Yeah, I think it's something we should all be aware and know how to use. Anyone else? All right. So call question, all in favor? Great, thank you. All right, so on to my councillor's update. I just did want to mention that we don't have our usual report from the fire chief, as she is currently up in Burns Lake, where she is a staging manager up there, so doing her usual great job of organization. So she is hoping to be home soon. She did send a text to us saying that she was available if anyone has any questions for her. So in Public Works, they have been, well, just all their usual jobs, but the big thing is they're going to be starting and they have started getting going up that crosswalk at Hans Helgeson School. So it's going to be after many years of people lobbying for that crosswalk. It's going to be quite exciting to see it actually getting set up for the new school year. The roadside trails, I don't know if anyone has noticed around their place, but the one I use tends to come along Rocky Point Road, and a couple of weeks ago I rode my bike on there and just about got taken out by a branch. And then further along I got a piece of blackberry thorn stuck in my foot as I was trying to pedal away. Anyhow, they have completely cleared that up, and it looks so impressive now to go along there. So they do such a great job. With MACA, I think people can sort of look at that. They've had some great events going on, including the Festivus, which was another popular gathering for Canada Day. They did want me to make mention of, they have been raising some money, and one thing they have done is they have donated $1,000 toward the recent Changemakers Gathering Festival, which was quite, I didn't get to go to that, but I understand that it was a really great event. The Arts Commission has awarded their project grants for this came out in April, and two chosen groups were recipients. One was William Head on Stage, which has got a production going again for this year, which I think is going to be this year anyway, which should be interesting to go to as usual. It's called Departure Points. This is an original dramatic comedy based around the idea of overhearing conversations in a cafe. So we'll see how that one turns out. The other one was they got $12,000, and $2,075 went to the West Shore Community Concert Band to support a series of concerts for young musicians in the community. Other than that, I think I did make a mention of the Early Ford V8 Club, the Fords and Friends show that took place on Sunday. I dropped by near the end of it. I spoke to a couple of the RCMP officers that were on site and asked them if there were any issues or problems, and they said it was just a great event. They had heard no problems whatsoever. They said they got just so many positive comments from the event, especially people saying that they love being able to come to Machosen, take in the car show, go to the brewery, go to the farmers market, and just and the art gallery, and just kind of take in the whole day in Metchosin, and they were really happy with the event. I also spoke to the organizer, to Bruce Summers, and he was tired, mind you, as he was loading up stuff, but he had about 175 cars, which were just beautiful. And and really there was no problem. One thing there, St. did mention that might help, just traffic-wise, would be to have another exit out of the field, right near the tennis court there, to go out that driveway. So that would be convenient. But otherwise, I don't know. I haven't. If anyone has heard of anything, but I haven't heard of any problems. So it was quite exciting to see the event taking place.
Councillor,
Yes.
I was at the event as well, and I thought it was incredibly well organized from especially from the point of view of the people who had vintage cars there. There were, I don't think I've ever seen as many cars in Metchosin vintage or otherwise. And there was a time, I think, just around noon where the traffic was, there was so much. But interestingly, it was moving slowly and under control. People were moving back and forth. It seemed to be manageable. And as I mentioned to you before, there's a meeting of the Municipal Grounds Group on the 25th, I think, 27th, next week. And so one of the topics is that we're going to talk about how it went and how it felt for people. So yeah, it'd be wonderful if you were able to attend as well.
Yes, I will come to that. Yeah. It did. The RCMP officers did mention. They just said it was a lot of traffic, a lot of people, but they seemed quite happy with it all. Since, as you said, I think people were very careful. They just were going really slowly, which was kind of nice to see going through downtown Metchosin. Anyway, the last thing I have on my agenda is correspondence from David Kirkham. He was talking about how he really would like to see open burning banned for the entire year in Metchosin for the air quality, and also that possibly we could increase, if we did that, to increase roadside pickup and chipping program. Than that, I will ask call for adjournment. Moved by Councillor Donaldson, seconded by Councillor Gray. All in favor? Thank you.